This video highlight is brought to you by our Wall of Famers who make it possible for me to carve time out of my very busy real-life schedule and do what it is that I love to do. Be with you. Thank you.
Hello, space nerds. Welcome. I'm shiny because it's hot. But we also got a roadmap roundup today for Star Citizen, which is also hot. We're going to jump right into it. You got the normal disclaimers here talking about what the heck the roadmap roundup is and why it's happening. Most importantly, though, which is not mentioned here, I think, is the state of the cards, which can read released, committed, or tentative. We're going to get to that in a minute because we got a delay this week. Now, 4.2.1, all cards are released, of course. 4.3, first edition they're talking about here is the new hairstyles. We know about that, but the card has a new visual. Yay! Check it out.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do
I know
this.
people got problems with hairstyles because they feel like it's not important. I think hairstyles are one of those things that they've gotten the system figured out.
Soul patches right now. Damn it. Come on. Donnie, I know you're watching, bro. Donnie, I've been asking you for 3 years, man. Come on, dude. Soul patches. Been asking for soul patches since the pie patch. 3.14. That was a lot of patches ago. I've been asking for this soul patch. Damn it, Donnie. Damn it. Soul patches. Make it happen.
Up to where they can just make them reliably and consistently now. Things like the PvE combat missions we're starting to see in game also feel that way. Generally, every couple patches, we seem to be getting some new contracts in that area as well. With the hairstyles, yeah, okay, it's happening there too. I hope that this is something that can move on to other parts of the game, like salvage, mining, or just more contracts so that we can see more stuff coming in more regularly like that.
Oh, that's awesome, Betty.
Besides that, though, we got an update on dynamic snow. Once again, this is just a visual update to the actual card. And it's much
That's
like
funny,
the rain
Levinas.
going to be something that ties into the new Planet Tech update that they're working on that will start to see weather be a little more predictable and reliably visual in the game. Snowfall will now appear based on weather conditions. I'm actually really excited to see how this makes it so that as you go up a mountain in Microtech, you get snow, you get rain turning to snow. This will do a lot for the immersion of the game, which isn't quantifiably important to a lot.
Listen. This explains how much pressure it is to be a content creator, man. Because I understand where Tomato's like. You see, he's a little kid there. You see how he got excited. Let me explain. This is why I'm an enhancer, not a reactor. Watch how excited Tomato is explaining about weather and rain turning into snow. Like rain in a game crystallizing, turning into snow. And the way that Tomato explains it, he's like a little kid having the best time of his life. And then he switches gears, and you see him get more serious, thinking about, well, maybe people don't think this is that serious, so I'm just gonna make a comment after that. I'm not gonna be so excited about that. Watch this. I love Tomato. By the way, Tomato, I love you, bro. I'm just saying, this is the greatest transition of all time. Look how excited he is talking about the dynamic snow.
In Microtech, you get snow, you get rain turning to snow.
He's excited, and then he's like,
this will do a lot for the immersion of the game, which
he changes. Wait, he changes. Hold on.
Mountain based on weather reliably visual in the game. Snowfall will now appear based on weather conditions. I'm actually really excited to see how this makes it so that as you go up a mountain in Microtech, you get snow.
Look, you
get rain turning to snow.
And now he's like worried about other people, and he's worried about Uber nerds and Star Citizen telling him that that's not really important. They don't care about that. They just want the game done. So now he's like adjusting his context, and he's like, well, but this is the best. It is
do a
the
lot
best
for the immersion of the game, which isn't quantifiably important to a lot of people, but
it is important.
It does a lot when the game.
Listen, it's quantifiably important to me. Okay, I get excited about that shit. I'm very happy about it. Don't you take that back, and don't you try and feel like you have to justify your excitement there, Tomato, at all.
Is overall rounded out, and at some point the Planet Tech team's got to get this stuff in, and they do fast work. So glad to see them getting dynamic snow and after dynamic rain. Next, hopefully sandstorms, radiation storms, and possibly the Pyro Star starting to do its thing again.
Yeah,
that got taken out. Wickelow's special ships.
Oh man, when that star starts flashing like that, holy shit, man. I don't know what to think about that. Do you guys want that flash? Do you guys want that solar flare hitting again up in Pyro? Put a 1 if you want that solar flare and a 2 if you don't. I'm really curious what people think about that solar flare and Pyro that used to. 1 if you want it, 2 if you don't. I'm just really interested in what you guys have to
We're
say
also
about
getting
this.
an update on the visuals of the
at you
car,
guys.
basically just announcing which ships are going
Purists
into the game.
to the lore.
This is a problem.
I gotta say, I think I might be a 2. I think I might be agreeing with Fingers on this one, man. But you know what? There's a lot of purists in here. They gotta go to the lore, and I respect that. I'm gonna give you all an amen for that. Yes, you're like, we gotta go to the lore. Right. But like, I don't know, man. I'm kind of maybe in Fingers court on this one, man. I feel like maybe a 2 for me, but you know, hey, man.
That I want to talk about in a further video. Star Citizen is continuing to shoehorn these ships into Wicklo's Emporium. And it's good to test Wicklo out. I think he's probably a standard for a lot of different trader type mission givers we're going to get eventually. But these should be in the store, because you still got to test how the store and the economy works and how people buy these ships and use them after they earn them. And they're missing out on a lot of that stuff by doing this, and players are missing out on a lot of available ships by them doing this. And I think I actually saw here on the dev tracker that Niku mentioned they don't even have plans to change up this practice anytime soon. Here he said, currently Wicklo special ships are only available at Wicklo's Emporium. There's no immediate plans to change this. That said, we are actively discussing the possibility of adding some of our recently released ships to our other ship dealer terminals. Niku, CIG, do that. This isn't the way. I know it's testing, and I know they need to get the stats from Wicklo, but I mean, like this person said, this is a starter ship. Let people go get it in the game. It's so good that they made the Golem as an easy to get mining ship to get people directly into mining in the game. But then it's basically, I mean, as a starter, you're not really doing the stuff to earn the Golem from Wicklo. You're doing stuff that's like basic and introductory to the game. You're not running a bunch of different contracts and going through some system that you need to grind at for weeks in order to earn this ship. By the time you've gotten through there, you could just buy a prospector with the UAC. So
we're also giving away a Golem.
It's a weird choice on their part, and I hope that they change that.
We're going to talk about the giveaways next.
The other additions here are, again, new visuals.
So stick
the
around.
ASD Light Combat Stealth and the Wicklo Light Combat Stealth. One of these is dark and one is not. I think they're actually, we could just scroll through here and find it. The Wicklo Light Combat Suit looks like it is in white, and the other one looks like it is in black. And if you do a little code foo here, you can get through the code. And I already did this.
Sure,
basically you can rip the pictures out and kind of see what they look like. It's a little blurry, but it looks good with the cloth mixing with armor. It's something we've been waiting for and looking for more in this game. And I don't know if this has anything to do with Starware, but Starware is supposed to mean this is easier for them to make. What I do find funny is that ASD is like this science company that has this really nice combat light armor that very Star Citizen, very UEE government. Now the final part, the disappointment to people, the cooperative zones. These have been temporarily removed from the roadmap. They won't be ready for 4.3. The Onyx facility missions are now going to be categorized as sandbox activities rather than cooperative zones. Now, cooperative zones were, I believe, pretty close to quoting them, not contested zones, not sandboxes, but more of just a closed off area where players could work through puzzles and hazards and stuff together rather than being pitted against each other for resources to complete goals and missions. Sandbox activities are wide open narratives attached to locations. They're not events. That's like a huge thing that people really got to understand. The sandbox activities here are not events. They're not the same as the resource rush we're doing. So you're not timed to get this done. This will exist in 6 months. It'll exist in 12 months. It might be in different abandoned underground facilities, but they will be there and you don't have to do them for 4.3. On that same note, that does mean that the Hathor locations, the contested zones, the ASD facilities, all these things that have been added that people are calling events, they're still going to be around. People can still do them. I have plenty of fun at Hathor. I just found a couple pulse pistols out there I'm going to sell on my Discord. And
it's fun to hang around the
just
area.
Go out there and loot and maybe take part in that narrative.
It is kind of fun.
That
I've done it
is
a few
occurring
times.
at those locations at times. Could be interesting. And they still seem to work, mostly.
I love his attitude. this is what I try and tell people. I get it. There is a very solid PvE only kind of gamer for Star Citizen, but I love when like people who, and I don't know what Tomato's play style is, but it sounds like he might be a little bit more PvE oriented. I'm not quite sure. And like, look what he does. He's going around Hathor. He's trying the area out, and then he doesn't mind the fact that there's other gamers there, and it's a mix. And that's cool. That's what a sandbox is supposed to be. That's what. Oh, tomato is saucy. All right, cool. Tomato is
kind of
tomato makes a wicked
partially
sauce.
But I do think that this is a disappointing removal for people who are looking more for that safe gameplay in the game where really we live in an open universe and anything can happen.
Bang.
Doesn't mean anything will happen. I generally never get attacked in this game, but it can rarely. And a lot of people want to guarantee that it won't.
Now, and that's sad. And that is actually sad. And that's the thing that I guess I don't get it. Because you're logging into an MMO. It seems to me like that's the most common sense thing where these things will happen to you. I think along the way for people that do have that type of play style where they absolutely don't want to be bothered, the best that they're going to get is a lawful based system with really good NPC response. And that won't happen for a year or 2 years, maybe even longer than that. So if that's your play style, you're going to have to wait a while, right? And you're just going to have to realize you're logging into an MMO. And I feel like that's crazy that I got to say this. I feel that's a crazy thing for me to be like, hey, things can happen in an MMO. Like, everybody wants to walk around super safe. I was just having this conversation with my kids. We drove up to Michigan. My father-in-law passed away. It's like a 3-hour drive from where I'm at up to Detroit. And so the service was up there, and we're driving there. And I just bought this Jeep last year. We had a naming contest. We did the whole thing. And there's so many like safety features. Detroit should be a PvP server. You're right, dude. And so we're driving along the way. My kids are there. My daughter's fiance is in the back seat, crammed in with my son. It was great. It was, that part of the trip was wonderful because the family was in the Jeep together, crammed in together for a 3-hour drive, and it felt really old school. I had Christy in the passenger seat, and we're driving up there. And my point is, we're driving up there, and everything's so damn safe. I mean, the bell's dinging for the seatbelt. Okay, got the seatbelt. Boom, 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 boom. It's like every 5 seconds the thing beeps like you don't have your belt on. And I'm like, okay, I got the belt, right? And then like I got like this auto traction system, and it starts to beep. If I do like a left blinker or a right blinker, it'll beep. Like if there's somebody around me, and I'm like, God damn. It's annoying me, man. It's like, how safe does this Jeep want me to be? Like, what's going to happen eventually is I'm just going to be like pushing the car, push back, pillows will surround me. They'll put a pacifier in my mouth, and the car is going to drive itself. I mean, like, Jesus, where's the fun in driving anymore? It's too safe. And what is the analogy? That is what I think of when I think of somebody that logs into an MMO and they want to be completely safe. It's like, you really want that experience on an MMO? Don't you just want to drive the car with no bells and whistles? Don't you just want to drive and experience the road, the sounds of the wind? Open the windows down, relax, maybe put on a song, chill out, not have like 1,000 bells and warning systems going off. Don't you just want to like experience the MMO? Don't you just want to like log into it? I mean, I guess people get offended. I talk about this right now. We lost 9 people. We lost 9 viewers because they're pissed off I'm talking about this. Like, that's how polarized people have become. If you start talking about this and somebody doesn't like it, well, this isn't the channel for me. I can't hear anything that's different than what I think in my brain. I can't handle it. If it's not an echo chamber, I'm going somewhere else to an echo chamber where everybody agrees with everything that I say. Like, that is the craziest thing in the world to me, man. Crazy. And for people to log into an MMO and want to have a solo don't fuck with me experience, you're fucked in the head. So you can leave. Because it's an MMO. Play a solo game. Play a solo game where you don't have to worry about anybody bothering you. The logic doesn't stack up is what I'm trying to say. The logic does not stack up. They're aliens.
Now, what I think could be the problem here, because it's not the AI turrets that have been held back. Those are still confirmed. And this was, I think, an important thing to see technology-wise and feature-wise that was coming into the update. I think it still could be related to instances.
On the opposite side of the spectrum, it should not be a struggle session as well. So, to be fair, Wooksy is bringing the truth.
We're lucky if these cooperative
it's been a while
zones might
since I ran it. I had to get that ran out. I'm done.
That relate back to the municipal works that CIG introduced back in CitizenCon 2024. We go back to those locations. The way they talked about them was that they were meant to be closed off areas for just gameplay that you wanted to do with your friends without being like truly interrupted by other people.
What is an instance area? Well, an instance area works in the same way as an instanced hangar. And as the name says, it's a separate space for you and your group. But why do we want to do this? This gives us the ability to create tailored missions that will provide a mixture of content like combat or exploration or puzzle gameplay, and fundamentally allows us to design challenging, meaningful content.
So besides all the buzzwords, it's pretty clear that this was a closed off portion. Much like with the hangars, you could basically just hop into a room, hop into another room, and suddenly you're in a place where other people can't access because they're not them.
Well, this is something that they mentioned, though. To be fair, they talked about this in the portion where they were talking about creating dungeons, like dungeon crawling, right? They did talk about this at last year's CitizenCon, so I don't think that's off the table.
And you're not you. Wait, we'll go with that. So this was meant to be an R-Corp. These were the new municipal works that took place at landing zones, but it does feel like this was a chance for them to test it out in smaller applications first. And maybe that technology is just not working right now. Now, I know we all got our hopes up.
I'm going to tell you what it is right now. They're adding Hathor and Stormbreaker. All these new events are new object containers for the server to handle, and so they're going to have to take something away before they add something. That's the one thing. If they're going to put too many things down, they're going to have harder and harder performance. The performance is going to get worse and worse. And so they got to be careful. And they're, like I said, it's a balancing act for everything, for all the object containers they're putting in. They got to find other areas where they're going to be able to take object containers out because of the server tech. They're limited by the server tech. They're juggling right now. So like dungeons are on the back plate until server tech gets to the point where it needs to get. That's why I always talk about why stability is so damn important, Yeah. Hugh said, I saw in the notes somewhere that dynamic server meshing is going to be required for these instance areas to exist. Correct. Yes. Yep. Exactly. And that's why I'm always talking about stability.
Posting about how these things are coming in 4.3 and all that stuff. But the cards themselves are still listed as tentative.
And yet it'll be there, though. You know what I'm saying, bro?
On Reddit, in this rather downvoted
I'm kind of like you, man.
He mentions
but yet
that
they'll be there.
They have descriptions for how these cards work. Tentative means it's not necessarily going to come in. Committed means it does. The cooperative zones, he said, are part of an initiative we're very excited about. That said, it won't be ready in time for 4.3, so we've updated the roadmap accordingly. Mixed feelings. Obviously, communication is good. Letting us know that things aren't working out and that you need to push it back is good. Not pushing extremely broken things into the game is good. But I think most people who are listening to this, or at least some people who are listening to this, would say they haven't really been consistent with that this year. As we can see with this latest event, cargo elevators are pretty broken. But cargo elevators were already in the game. These cooperative zones were not. And I think it is good on CIG in a year when they're specifically talking about playability that they have some standard for pushing this content in or out. Because they are rushing so much on each of these updates every month.
I'm not quite sure, V.
We saw with the audio team last week mentioning that they had to rush Rain into 4.2. They're fast-paced go-no-go meeting
also the
these
tier
kinds
through
of things
AWS
every month.
As well as what I'm
maybe
wondering.
Maybe 2 weeks ago they thought
on.
that this could get in, and then 2 weeks later when they pass it off to the higher-ups, the people are like, hey, this isn't going to work. don't put this in. And they have to make the tough call of delaying it. Now that makes people pretty unhappy, as you will see by scrolling through Reddit. I feel like you will always see this scrolling through Reddit, but people have reasons to be unhappy. I mean, a lot of folks are looking for this more safe, cut-off gameplay in these instances, and I think they deserve that in certain places. I think underground facilities make great place to do that. But it's unfortunate that these will likely only come until in 4.4 or maybe a little bit later. But we can see that these underground facilities, which were underground facilities before they were renamed to distribution centers, were planned quite a while ago. Here's some words on this from the art director. Not too much, just a little bit.
And also, if we're describing these locations as maybe some are more abandoned, we could start to showcase how nature slowly started to take over. This also would introduce some pretty cool opportunities.
So a combination of these abandoned locations that sit down underneath what are now distribution centers. I don't know if the way they're going to deliver it will be the same way they presented it here in this video. This is from 2022, but we could see that they did go forward with distribution centers, and they do have these areas inside of the distribution centers that were meant to kind of connect with underground facilities. In fact, we have some gray/white box looks at these underground facilities, descending from the distribution centers up above and heading far, far down underground, the underground facilities below. That, I think, makes for a great excuse to instance some stuff. And you can see that they just, in general, they were doing some development on this to get these into a place where we could play them. But this was around 2023. A lot of priorities shifted in 2023 towards Squadron 42. Turbulent was acquired, so a lot of different initiatives got canned or put to the side for a bit. And we're only just now seeing that work seemingly coming back up. So I don't know what the whole story is surrounding these underground facilities, but I think it is very good that we are seeing them pop up in the roadmap as some part of the next update. And in a couple days, we should get some access to this, and I will do a whole video on how they're being delivered, what they could mean for the game, and what we can expect going forward. But that is your roadmap update for today.
All right.
Filled with a little bit of a disappointment, but also I think solidifying that we will at least get the underground facilities. I don't think 4.3 is going to be some big groundbreaking update to people. I think the cooperative zones were probably the biggest thing a lot of folks were waiting for, so it might behoove you to wait a little bit longer. But again, we'll get it in Evocati soon. Check it out. I'll let you know if it's worth jumping in. Thanks for checking this one out. Hope you got the info you wanted.
Okay, little roadmap update by Space Tomato.